What is up, everybody? Welcome to another great day in the hobby. I am Jason here with Big Sexy Bradley Crenshaw. It is a very, very special day at DCI. Not only episode 28, but we are adding another member to the DCI family. So we are thinking about Lexi as she is bringing another member of the Crenshaw clan into the world today. So good luck, Lexi. Thinking about you today.
She's actually in labor right now.
In labor. I mean, that is
in labor.
That is, it doesn't get any more
Epidural
real.
is in effect. She's dilated to a 5. She's halfway there. She is literally in labor as we shoot this show.
That is awesome. So good luck, Lexi. Can't wait. Cannot wait to meet Mr. Jameson as he joins us today. But don't forget to like and subscribe to our content, guys. Catch all of our upcoming videos and podcast episodes, as well as our Whatnot channel. We've got daily streams, dollar auctions, really fun community starting up over there on Whatnot. So make sure you jump on our Whatnot, hang out with us during the week as well. Really cool place to get started in the hobby. Bunch of fun stuff to talk about today.
Hey, you know what? Do you know that when Jameson's born today, that this will be her second?
Okay.
Initials of MJ.
MJ, that's right. There we go.
Michael Jordan. That's right.
It's all
got to be good, right?
Bringing it back to sports, full circle. That's right. He's gonna be the GOAT.
It's the struggles of having a beard are real.
Getting caught in the microphone.
It keeps getting caught in this stupid microphone.
We got to get you a.
Man, I have to get something. We got to get a microphone that doesn't attract the beard into the little holes that are in this thing.
We got to get you a little cover on there.
Yeah.
You know, I always spit on mine, so maybe we'll get a couple of them.
You just spit on it?
That's right. Maybe we'll get a couple of them. That way we don't ruin our microphones. Bunch of cool stuff to talk about.
I'll be sure to not talk on your microphone.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Since you spit on yours,
that's exactly right. Now that we've got the 4K video, I've got to be careful too. You're gonna catch me in slow-mo here.
Yeah.
Our first topic of the day.
Before you jump into your topics, how has the Whatnot streams been?
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I am actually the one who is behind the camera, if you will. Getting to
face for radio type deal.
Absolutely, exactly. You get to see my pretty hands, but and my awesome cards.
Have you started painting your fingernails yet?
Not yet. No fingernail paint yet.
Why not?
I might do that. The MLB catchers do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bring some sex appeal to our Whatnot.
Give them little signs, when you're on there.
That's right.
Yeah,
might have to do that.
Yeah,
but the Whatnot's going great. It's an awesome place that we've been able to put new product. Again, bring the value back to the hobby. Put that new product into the hands of the collector at an affordable price.
Yeah.
We've offered some deals for the RCRs as well. Another way that people have, increased the value of their collection. But it's a really fun place to learn about different sets, different cards, different communities in the hobby. We typically have 20 to 25 people on every day, hanging out, buying $1 cards all the way up to $1,000 cards. So we've got a really good mix of everything. Bunch of regular customers as well. So really fun community.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed it so far. So it's been fun to build that.
I've been able to jump on a few times to, just kind of, just see how
to
the
mess
streams
around.
go. Yeah.
It's addicting.
And
man.
you've literally, you've had a lot of people that have been in your streams. You've done a really good job with that.
Thank you.
They've really enjoyed. I think that community on that side is really building on that side. And then we're also going to be shifting over to do, some of the work on ISO as well. So that's going to be really big.
Really big.
For us.
Not only on, the back end side of things for how we operate day to day, it makes shipping and all that all in one easy spot to manage chats, different stuff like that for the back end.
Creates our own marketplace the same way that, PWCC runs an auction or that eBay runs an auction. We can create all that marketplace inside of our ISO. So it's our own personal marketplace where we can run daily auctions, minute auctions, 30-second auctions, week-long auctions, buy it now auctions, whatever we want to run. We can bring breakers in to break on our platforms. We can do all kind of things. So, being able to offer the grading services inside of our ISO platform where they can grade on the spot is going to be huge as well.
Especially as we develop that slab, as we develop the slab and keep taking in submissions and offering grading encapsulation. Imagine being in a break on our ISO channel, hitting just a monster card and being able to pay for grading right then and there, have the whole process done through, the same company, the same website, all in one spot.
And then shipped directly out to you.
Shipped directly to you.
Yes.
It's just a one-stop shop. It's going to be really fun. It's going to be really cool. Really excited about ISO and developing those live stream communities as well as those,
I'm super excited
those
about
marketplaces.
That. Yes, absolutely. All right, man. I
really cool.
Yeah, I just thought about that as we were getting started. I kind of wanted
to,
jump in and talk about, how our whatnot was going, and then what we were doing to try to better our whole community and everything too with our customers out there. So yeah,
something we like to say, leveling up, just leveling up again. Here
Always
at DCI.
Leveling up.
That's exactly
Always.
Right. First topic that we have kind of for today, injuries kind of biting some big-time athletes across different sports. The first one is a local guy who I actually really like. I like Kyler Murray a lot. He's a good guy, I think, and has not had the best season. I think a lot of people have probably lost a little bit of money on some of his higher-end cards. I saw a gold prism finish at auction yesterday. I think it was a PSA 9. So not gem, but only at $2,000. $2,000 for a Kyler Gold. That hurts. That's down 85% in a year. So big time swing on some of the Kyler high end stuff there. But in your opinion, is that due to injury? I guess we saw him miss last night's game with a non-contact knee injury, what looked like a torn ACL. Unfortunately,
it is.
It is. It confirmed. From the week prior, but unfortunately that auction in particular ended at a bad time, obviously right after the injury, but a downward trend for Kyler in general. Let's just say that person had waited till next season to sell that gold prism. Do you think that an injury, especially at the quarterback position, like a torn ACL, really does that player in for their career moving forward? Is an ACL injury as a quarterback too detrimental for a guy like Kyler who's young and mobile, especially?
I don't believe so. I mean, if you look at Tom Brady also had an ACL or MCL injury early on in his career. And you look at him now. I mean, He goes on to win 7 Super Bowls. And the same thing happened to Joe Burrow, right? I mean, he also had that injury. So I don't believe that the particular injury has an effect on their investability down the road or what they're going to achieve down the road, because they're still young, right? They're still going to be able to, their body's going to repair it. It'd be different if somebody like, myself at 45 years old had an ACL injury. Sure. I may be pretty much done.
Right.
Because,
that's fair.
I just don't know whether or not, my body would repair itself, but I wouldn't be at a faster repair rate as, say, a young player.
Sure.
But, as far as Kyler Murray goes, Kyler Murray he's a good athlete, but he is not he's not a quarterback in the aspects of he doesn't have the attributes of a quarterback. He's too small. And that was always his big thing coming out of, college, going into college. They always talked about him being too small. He was able to maneuver around the NFL in his first couple of years because, one, you got to think, Lion is what, 6'7", 6'8".
Right.
This
little
dude,
see him.
You couldn't even see him till he was all the way out on the edges.
Right.
So him being able to move, but he doesn't protect the ball when he runs. If you watch him, he runs with the ball out like this.
He does do that.
And so I think just overall, the value of his cards have been up because people still believed in his athleticism.
Sure.
But as they matured in the hobby and watching the other quarterbacks, they've come to realize that long term, it's not a good investment due to his abilities as a smaller quarterback. And he's just going to be easily, you got to think, what is he, 5'9", 5'10" at the tops? Some of these linebackers are 6'5", 280 pounds and run a 4.40.
Yeah.
That's like, good
Getting
Lord,
hit.
could you
It's a car
imagine?
accident every
Yes.
time,
Hitting
every
that
time you
dude
get
running,
yeah.
his durability is just not going to be there. And I know this was a non-contact injury,
right,
which is really, sad to see.
It is. It's horrible.
But I just think long term for him, the hobby is starting to look at it as this is not a guy that's going to be durable and achieve. He's not going to win a Super Bowl
career,
right? He's just not going to win that Super Bowl.
Yep, that's it. Yeah, I kind of agree. I've actually, and you say he is a really small guy. I think they list him at 6'6'1", but I've met.
There's no way.
I was gonna say I've met Kyler a few times, and I'm 6 feet, and I was a few inches taller than him for sure. So there's no, he is a very small guy, and it's always funny to me to think about him hiding kind of behind the offensive line, and then a while ago, I remember last year they had all those memes and people were photoshopping him, remember, and they would make him like really, really small, to where it looked like he was only like 6 inches tall or something like that, which was always funny. But yeah, it's a bummer to see guys go down non-contact. A lot of the NFL players nowadays are very vocal about taking that AstroTurf away because of these non-contact injuries that tend to be knee injuries and kind of change of direction injuries that occur on the AstroTurf. But yeah, it's definitely a bummer.
But I mean, even on regular grass, they can occur. I mean, if the grass is wet and they go to stop, I mean, you see it all the time, and I mean the grass just gives way and
the ankle goes.
I think injury would be more prone to a grass field than to a turf field due to the fact of it slipping away from their feet. It's not going to slip away as much on a turf field as it would a grass field.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. A lot of time, or I guess a lot of the argument being made from the players seems to be give us the grass. More than one way, I guess they're arguing for that. But
I bet they are.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
They do want the grass, right?
That's exactly right.
Are we talking about the grass on the field?
Yeah, or off. Grass on and off the field for the NFL. That's exactly right. Another unfortunate
If it's
injury.
the Cowboys, I know what grass they want.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, they've had that for a long time over in Dallas, Jerry especially. Another unfortunate knee injury to plague another young superstar, though, in basketball is Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham going down for the season with a knee injury.
Did you call and check on Connor Hubbard?
Oh, man, I know. Our old media guy, Connor, is a diehard Cade Cunningham fan.
I know he's probably mourning today.
I know, he is.
Yeah.
And it's got to, you got to take it with a grain of salt, okay? Detroit wasn't going to win the title this year. They're still a few years away. Cade's still going to be a great player, in his own right. How do you temper expectations now, though, for a player like Cade Cunningham, who was touted, and I'm not going to say he was ever going to be LeBron James, okay? But he was the number one overall pick. Whenever you're drafted number one overall, regardless of the sport, there's that immense hype around you. Coming into the league, you need to perform. You eventually need to be an all-star and deliver a title to the city. When you suffer a severe injury in those first couple of seasons, how does that potentially stunt your investability in the hobby?
How severe was it? It was a shin injury or something, wasn't it?
It is shin injury, but he is out for the season.
Yeah.
So
he's got to have surgery done.
He does have to have surgery. Yep. So it's not an true ACL.
Yeah, it's not an ACL, MCL type tear of the knee.
Right.
So I mean, I think he bounces back just fine, and I mean, it's just one of those things. It's just the recovery time, and with them not winning anything or not being in in the playoff run or not having a chance, I mean, why take a chance with your number one pick?
Right. There's no reason to play in the rest of the season.
Let's just go ahead and get that. Let's get it repaired. Get ready. Do I think Cade Cunningham is going to come out next year and have a great year? Absolutely. They're going to have to get pieces around him.
Definitely.
In order to do that, it's the same thing with a lot of these young talented players.
Yep.
Luka's in his 5th year and he still doesn't have anybody. I mean, he's out there knocking down triple doubles like crazy.
Absolutely.
But that's only going to get him so far.
Yeah, it is. It's
being drafted number one and the hype around the number one pick. If you go back over the years on the investment side of things, if you're just talking on the investment of the players, go back through the number one picks previously and look at the values of those players now.
Right. The
hype around them was huge.
Always. It always is.
But then they tailored off. It's the same thing with your Heisman Trophy winners in football.
That's exactly right.
They come out with all this hype and people want to buy them. And realistically, it's all about statistics. And, if you go back and look, it's never played out for those particular players. So I'm not one that gets caught up in that type of FOMO type atmosphere. But they are fun to watch when they come out because of all the hype and so on and so on.
Absolutely.
But they're not, in my opinion, great long-term investments because none of them, by the numbers, have ever worked out.
And you kind of always pay that, like you said, you pay that premium for that number one hype or that initial release, their first product. So definitely interesting. Unfortunately, another injury for Cade, but a little bit along the same lines. Let's just say a guy like Joel Embiid, who's now MVP candidate year in, year out. Joel Embiid for the 76ers. First couple years in the league, developed a reputation of being very injury prone. He never had a very high-end marketing cards. Now it's not the case. His cards sell very well. Again, MVP caliber guy, but developed early on that reputation of being injury prone. And I understand that he's a center in the hobby, values centers, right, less than guards. But even compared to other centers now, Embiid's market has really, really picked up, despite that injury prone moniker early in his career, which I think allowed people time to realize how good this guy was and kind of back off of his stuff because of the injuries. And then as he kind of grew into his body and became more of that, 27, 28-year-old body rather than an 18, 19-year-old body, it started to click and everything made sense. So like you said, a lot of these young guys, it just takes time. Even if they're labeled injury prone, it may not be detrimental for investing in their career long term.
Yeah. Which
is awesome. So yeah, hopefully Cade Cunningham can come back strong. Another guy that's been in the headlines these last couple weeks that did not have much of a hobby following. In fact, his nickname is Mr. Irrelevant. Mr. Irrelevant. Brock Purdy for the San Francisco 49ers beats Mr. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers last week on Sunday. What are your thoughts on Mr. Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, and how he's kind of come onto the scene in San Francisco?
I love the story.
Totally.
I love to see, and I know he is playing on his opportunity. He was one of those guys that as the season started, he never thought that he would have the opportunity to be able to play. And so now that he is able to get in there and play, he is showing out. And I'll tell you something funny. Here about, I don't know, probably 6 or 7 weeks ago, I was sitting down going through, like I told y'all, how I go through and I look for, those second, third string quarterbacks.
To take flyers on.
And I actually started looking at Brock Purdy before
he took off.
He got hurt, or before that Garoppolo got hurt and he had the opportunity to come in. And that's what you got to do when you look at the investment side. I mean, they're not all going to pan out when it comes to that. And I don't know, and the jury's still out whether or not if he's really the long-term candidate. But as of right now, I mean, he looks great.
He has no self-doubt. You know what I mean? He is absolutely, he believes when he goes out there that it is his time, and he's been making throws. He looks like the guy right now. That's exactly right.
He come in with a take charge, leadership mentality when he stepped into that huddle, and that's what you got to have. Especially, I mean, you got to think about all those players on the field that have been playing all year. They started off with Trey Lance getting hurt. Jimmy Garoppolo comes in, and now he gets hurt. Which, by the way, San Francisco, stop running your key players up the middle.
Right.
I mean, you almost got Deebo Samuel hurt for the remainder of the year. Luckily, that wasn't a major issue. Stop doing it. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to start figuring that out. But then as those players start coming along, and now Brock Purdy's got an opportunity. He's just playing. He's playing his heart out right now. I mean,
that complete self-belief that he goes out there with has to just send a message to those guys who have been doing it all year, who expect to be playing every Sunday, right? When a guy like that gets an opportunity and comes out and is ready, prepared, and is ready to go like that.
He just steps in the huddle and says, "Hey guys, I got this.
I'm the guy.
Let's go.
Let's go." And and they don't skip a beat. That is so big for an organization.
Yep.
In any organization, but especially as a quarterback of an NFL team.
Yes.
Excuse me. That is.
Well, yeah,
that is a luxury.
You have to think about, they got Christian McCaffrey, so they got a boost in their offense there. And then their other quarterback goes down. Now their wide receivers are sitting there thinking, oh, well, our season's over with. And then in steps Mr. Irrelevant, and that's where he's got to come in with that confidence. And he's like, hey, guys, hate it for Jimmy, but look, I'm here, and we're going to win this game.
Right.
And this is how we're going to do it.
And
just take charge. And I think that has been huge.
Oh, it's given them such
yes.
And their defense is damn good.
Oh, yeah.
They've got a really good defense. I think San Francisco is a great organization.
I think they are the probably the front runners in the NFC to go to the Super Bowl. As far as the NFC goes,
ahead of the Eagles, you think?
I think they could beat the Eagles.
Okay.
I'm not a huge believer in the Eagles making it to the Super Bowl. I think a defense like the 49ers could put them out.
It's interesting. I know you've got money on the Cowboys though, right?
Cowboys lose in the first round. Hey, mark that. Cowboys lose in the first round of the playoffs. Mike McCarthy gets fired. Next year, Sean Payton is the coach of the Cowboys, and they go on closer run to the Super Bowl. Won't say they'll win it their first year, but that's what's going to happen.
Episode 28, you heard it here first. There's
right.
the claim. Cowboys out in the first round. Sean Payton in. That's McCarthy out. Well, we are getting close to the end of our episode, but we do have a very, very special guest today to bring on to our show. I think you're familiar. His name is Lil Sexy.
Lil Sexy.
Lil Sexy. Come on over here.
Boy.
Let's bring Lil Sexy on to the podcast. We have a very special guest today. Lil Sexy, can you introduce yourself?
Tell them who you are.
Lil Sexy.
Lil Sexy, and are you okay if I ask you some questions today? Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. What special event is taking place this afternoon?
My mom is having a baby.
Your mom's having a baby? Are you going to be a big brother?
Yeah.
Do you know your brother's name?
Jameson.
And what are you going to do when you meet him? Are you very excited?
Yeah, I'm going to hug him and squeeze him very hard because I love him.
That is so cute. That is so sweet. All right, are you ready for some sports questions, Lil Sexy?
Ready.
All right.
Speak up.
First one up. Who is your favorite team?
LSU.
LSU?
Go
And
Tigers.
do you know? Yeah, what I was going to say. What's their catchphrase?
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Tell them up there. Tell them.
Go Tigers.
That's right. There we go. Lil Sexy. All right. Who is your favorite player of all time? That's a tough one.
Who's your favorite player? You know who your favorite player
Michael
is.
Jordan.
Michael Jordan, the GOAT.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. What else? And Lil Sexy, how old are you?
5.
5? Man, you are getting so big. It is crazy.
And my cousin is 6.
And your cousin is 6. How about that?
What's your cousin's name?
Gavin.
Gavin, your cousin Gavin. Well, shout out to Gavin. Lil Sexy, it was great having you on the podcast. Episode 28. I hope you come back and join us soon. What do you think about that? You going to come back on sometime?
Any last words you want to say?
Thank y'all.
All right. Thank y'all. All right. That is Lil Sexy here at the DCI headquarters. We are wrapped up this week, episode 28, our Nolan Arenado podcast, I will say, since we've been naming our podcast. My guy, Mr. Nolan Arenado.
Your man crush.
That's right. Had to give a little shout out there. But, guys, make sure you are liking and subscribing. You don't want to miss any of our upcoming content. Weekly podcast. Come and hang out with me on Whatnot. Is it blast over on Whatnot? Make sure you are mailing in cards as well for our RCR service, and we will catch you at a show in the near future. But that is it for today. Big Sexy out. Thank y'all. And Little Sexy out.